Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. And I hope it's been a great week for all of you. I hope that you've had exciting times and fun times and loving times and happy times and I just hope life has been really, really good for you. And if it hasn't, let's see if we can't shift things around a little bit today and head it all off in that direction for next week. So welcome and thank you for being here wherever here is for you, whether you're watching it live on Facebook on Sunday at noon or watching a replay at some other time in the week. I hope the time is good and that this is just the perfect thing in your life in this moment. Yeah, that's what I'd like for you. I want to thank all of you for being here, for tuning in, for listening, for your feedback, for your support. Several of you have set up regular payment plans where the money just automatically comes to the ministry once a month. Some of you give as you can each week as you are here. Whatever works for you, just know that it's always appreciated, and I think I don't mention it often enough. So I just want you to know that I'm grateful and I appreciate it, and I think you're grand and all of that. Happy sunny Sunday, Lainey. Boy, that's not as easy to say as it looked like it should have been. Good afternoon, Kirk. And how are you? We missed you Wednesday. Just know that whenever you can't be with us, we miss you. We love your presence. And Lainey, I assume wedding plans are still just trucking along as they should. For those of you that don't know, Lainey's daughter is getting married in March, and I may be more excited about it. I've known her since she was an itty bitty girl, and I'm particularly tickled about this one. So there we go. I was thanking people. Who else do I need to? I need to thank my technical department. Hi, technical department. I'm being waved at. Is just fabulous. She does all kinds of wonderful things and interacts with all of you when I'm not able to do that or when I don't see that you're there to be interacted with. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
See, got a real voice. It's a real person over there. I want to thank those of you who share the video after you've seen it, who put it up on your timelines or share it. I appreciate that. That's how we'll grow. That's how we keep going. And you know, Ernest Holmes, I think, said basically you're either growing or dying. So we'd like to grow. That would be a good thing. And let's see. I guess that's it for now. If you have prayer any time during the hour, just write them into the chat boxes and we'll get on it. The list grows. We are praying for some pretty wonderful people right now. So if we can add your name to the list, so much the better. Hi, Donna. Glad you're here. All right, Lainey, I need an explanation. They're pre-honeymooning in the Bahamas while Ayla is working. Such a job. No kidding. Good for her. Good for him. Good for them. Pre-honeymooning. I like that. I think it's a new idea everybody should adopt. Hello, Jennifer. Joyous Sunday to you as well. Kirk says he's missed the most recent spirit updates. How's the little scamp doing? Well, I'm still calling him the terrorist. So
Tell him to check my Facebook page.
yeah, check Kak's Facebook page. She uploads kind of an ongoing
Evidence.
with pictures. He's now not quite as white as he will be again eventually. Check her Facebook page. It's funny. It's entertaining, if nothing else. And she calls him sweetie and honey, and I call him the terrorist. So yeah, it's all in your perspective, I suppose. I have taken to leaving the evidence alone now. I was at first cleaning up after him, and I finally decided, no, she needs to see what I see. So let's just say he leaves evidence behind. Flight attendant for private wealthy folks. How in the world did she latch into that job? Oh, fabulous. So I assume she just stays in the hot bombs until they're ready to come home? Or she flew down, stays, flies back whenever she. Oh, I want the job. I guess young and pretty probably helps. Well. Okay, Kirk. You'll enjoy it. It's actually back up a little bit because you're for or more now. And I know, Lainey. I got it. I hear myself all the time, and I think I shouldn't do that. We had a feral cat once before. He's a feral, and we had a feral cat once before, and you know, at the shelter they said you don't want that one, and I said, oh yes, I do. Never like people, so she may get along with the other cats. You don't want that one. And I'm holding this little white fluff ball, who's going. So, being smarter than apparently than I am now, um, we named her Harmony, and it was absolutely an affirmation, and she absolutely lived up to it. She just became a fabulous cat. For moving plants around, she was never any trouble. Move plants around. She apparently didn't like where we put them. Um, I know, and I shouldn't call him the terrorist. I don't call him the terrorist all the time. Well, I call him the terrorist most of the time. And it's, you know, it's a statement of fact, but not necessarily truth. How's that? I know that only proves that I know better. It doesn't prove that I'm doing any better.
Just witnessing.
It is witnessing. It's an observation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he really is cute. He really is cute. He taunts the dog. Tallulah doesn't care. She just kind of looks at him and goes, "Huh." But Tipsy would give anything, I think, make him into his squeaky toy. Life with pets. Guys, better. It's easier. Oh, it's easier on my heart. It's easier. All kinds of things. But he is a doll, and we do love him. And he's the sweetest world in the morning. He gets up, he gives you kisses all by himself. He just walks up and takes a look at your face and goes, no. He's adorable. And then he gets out and about. And he does like to play in the middle of the night with the loudest toy he can find. But he really is cute. We do love him. And he's a terrorist. For now. For now. It will, I say, what I do keep saying is that this will pass. He is properly named. His name is Spirit. And he will demonstrate that. Right now, he demonstrates terrorist more often. Oh, well. Okay. Let me get off that subject. Prayer requests. If you have any, please input so that we know about them. We can't be mind readers, and we really would like to support you in prayer. So please, please, let us know what your prayer requests are. Don't have to be for you. Care about. Feel free to, as long as they know they're being prayed for. We don't assume prayer. Because if they don't want it, you know how that goes. Okay, good. Let me see. The Golden Globes are this afternoon. That should be interesting. Well, it's always entertaining, but it's usually kind of, and I just can't wait to see how they're going to do a virtual wild party. But we're going to tune in and find out. There's my news flash for the day. Golden Globes. Oh, Lainey, you're so welcome. Isn't it thrilling? Isn't it thrilling to be able to see that clearly? Good for you. I'm so proud of you for doing that. Oh, change his name to Millionaire. No, I like Spirit. Spirit has unlimited amounts of everything.
All right, change his tag then to millionaire.
Millionaire. As opposed to terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can do. Can do. So Lainey's seeing clearly now. I should let you do the talk, sweetheart. I am just thrilled that you had that done, and I know it's wonderful. Yeah, it's good stuff. You'll be able to see that bride when she walks down the aisle just as clear as glass. What a moment that'll be. Oh, this could be a beautiful bride. Penny says our old plasma screen looks really good now. Isn't it amazing how much better the appliances get when you can see them better? I know the feeling. Yeah, there you are, Laura. Hi, we've been waiting for you. Glad you're here. So, one more time, prayer requests. Anybody have any specific ones? Just feel free anytime during the hour to plug them in. We'll catch it, and we'll be praying. So, don't forget that that's available to you. And I guess I'll talk about what I was going to talk about. If that works for you. Yeah? Works for me. So, it is my understanding, my friends, that change is coming. Big change is coming. Or so they say. See, with all of us staying home a whole lot more, we're watching a lot more television. I was listening to an interview on NPR yesterday, and the guy was absolutely apologetic about the amount of time he was spending watching television since he had to be home, and he was also doing some physical recovery stuff. So, the television was on all the time. And he kind of said it and said how many hours and then tried to pull it back. It was really cute. We don't like to admit we watch as much as we do, I think, sometimes. Anyway, according to the ads, the new spring season is being launched. So it's out with the old, or temporarily out with the old while we run a few new ideas past you. In with the new, many of which were sitting on a shelf withering until the pandemic hit. And now they need to fill the time that was scheduled for shows that didn't get recorded. So look at this great new show we have for you that was originally filmed a couple of years ago, and we didn't like it, so we stuck it on a shelf, but we're pulling it out now, and you're gonna love it. Now is when we get to discover that a whole new world of entertainment awaits us. Old favorites have faded away, at least until April. Some are back. New reality shows have been invented. New versions of old shows are being rebooted. And new quiz shows are being touted as the best thing on TV. Well, I've seen a few of them and I think not, but that's my opinion. We are being assured that this really is the very best television season ever, ever, ever. Really, really, really. And we're supposed to be very excited about all the new entertainment that we are being offered. Yeah, well, if you watch television with any regularity at all, you can't miss the fact that a good deal of time and money is spent assuring that you are not only introduced to your new shows and reintroduced to your old shows and reintroduced to the reboots of even older shows, but that you know their exact address, how to find them, the network that transmits them, the station that airs them, the time that they are on, and the day of the week where they can be found. Of course, some of your old favorites can't actually be found anymore. They seem to have quietly disappeared into the nothingness from which a lot of shows seem to come. And you tune in, and perfect strangers show up in your living room. So, I've decided to know that whatever this new season brings or doesn't bring, it's actually a metaphor for my life. A great opportunity to practice or not practice what I preach. It can be an opportunity for many things. Some good, maybe some not so much, depending upon my point of view and the show involved. It can be an opportunity to feel victimized. Why did they take my show away? It was my favorite show. I looked forward to it all the time. Or it can be an opportunity to experience new hope. Maybe this new show will actually be good, or interesting, or reasonably intelligent. Or maybe they didn't actually kill off my favorite character and he or she will resurrect in later spring when some of these new shows fall kind of short of expectations. Or I will have created, or they will have helped me create, a good time to think, reassess, and reinvent my priorities and preferences. That seems likely. In Julius Caesar, Shakespeare has Brutus say, "There's a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries." Okay, I don't believe that we've only got one shot at a happy life, in spite of my appreciation of Shakespeare. I do believe that many of us let golden opportunities to be happy slip by because we name them losses or failures or injustices and miss the point of the opportunity that they present. So the boss says no promotion, or the doctor says not good news, or the mailman says, "Look like there's a lot of red ink in the mail today, Mrs." Or the significant other says, "We need to talk." And we do jump to conclusions, don't we? And our conclusions are rarely the kind of thing we want to be thinking about, let alone experiencing. A few years ago, I left a church service early, literally slipped out before the peace song, to get to a wedding that was a fair distance away. I was a little surprised when I got there and the parking lot was nearly empty. But then it wouldn't be the first time that the bride told me to be there earlier than I actually needed to be, so I didn't think a whole lot of it. But as I was parking my car, a young man walked up and tapped on the window. And then, as if he was reading it off a card, he said, "Due to unforeseen circumstances, Jack and Jill's wedding will not take place today." I said, "What?" So he said it again. "Due to unforeseen circumstances, Jack and Jill's wedding will not take place today." Now, of course, no, their names were not Jack and Jill. Names have been changed to protect the innocent, or the not so innocent, as the case may be. So I took it all in, and my brain finally got the message, and I thanked the messenger for being a sentinel at the crossroads of Jack and Jill's life and mine. I put the car into reverse and left. No one had told the minister that the wedding was called off. Not cool. I had left church in a rush, early. The wedding was canceled. Clearly, at the last minute. I had driven many miles to be there on time. And the wedding was canceled? And they didn't call the minister? Can any of this be good news? Maybe. Maybe. If we could see past the frustration and the critics and into the future, maybe it was yet to be good news. I can tell you, in fact, that Jill called me sometime later to apologize. She thought someone else had made the call. Her little heart was kind of thumping. And she was crying. And she said, "We really do love each other. It just didn't seem to be the right time." A few months later, she called me, and we did a quiet little wedding on the beach for Jack and Jill. And she wasn't sure her parents were going to show up, but they did. And it was lovely. And they're still together. See, we've got to stop assuming that just because the news seems bad, that bad is what has to come of it. The doctor's diagnosis, which is really just today's knowledge. That's what diagnosis means, today's knowledge. The teacher's grade, the bride's tears, are all conditions, all of them. And all conditions and circumstances are effects, not causes. But when we mistake an effect for a cause, it begins to look as though it just may be. But if we change what we believe, if we turn the thought around, the condition can be reversed. Good can be born of bad news, and vice versa, incidentally, if we are willing to change our perspective, our point of view. Not so easy to do, some people think. So here's something that might help. Tom Lear, who I happen to think is a genius, and who wrote many memorable songs in the 50s and 60s, including "Be Prepared," the Boy Scouts marching song, and "We'll All Go Together When We Go," and the Masochism Tango. Okay, so I was a big Tom Lear fan. Anyway, Lear once said that more excuse me Water, please. I got a dry spot in my throat all of a sudden. Thank you. Be right with you. Okay, I think we're good.
Do you want to keep it?
Yeah, just in case. Okay, so here I am talking about Tom Lear and choking on it. Lear once said that more successful, more classical theater, Greek tragedies, that kind of thing, would be more successful if it had a theme song you could hum. And based on the successes of Andrew Lloyd Webber, I think he may have been right. But my point is this: I think the same may be true of our lives. We might be more successful if we had a theme song for our lives that helped us to remember the truth instead of getting caught up in appearances. So I'm going to make a recommendation. There was a song in the 60s written by Jerry Capehart called Turn Around, Look at Me. In 1961, Glenn Campbell released a version which was his first song to make it to the charts in the United States. The Letterman and the Bee Gees took a stab at it. The most successful version, the one most of us hear when we think of that song, was released in 1968 by the Vogues. If you were around in the 60s, I'm sure you heard it. There's someone walking beside you. Turn around. Look at me. There is someone to love and guide you. Turn around. Look at me. What we have to know is that if what we see is not what we dream, not what we had hoped for, what we need to know is that what we are looking at is a reflection, not of life as it truly is, or even as it is meant to be, but a reflection of our thoughts. Lack and limitation, unhappiness and distress are all the result of the misdirection of our thinking, the result of our lack of understanding. It's ignorance or forgetfulness of our true nature, that nature which is unlimited and often surprising in its ability to turn things around. But as with the laws of civilization, ignorance of the way that spiritual laws works does not excuse us from their effects. If we are looking at chaos, we have to turn around and look at that which is not chaotic. I would recommend looking at God. If we are looking at what appears to be failure, we must turn around and look to God. Failure isn't mandatory. Lack is not mandatory. Dis-ease is not mandatory. But we can experience all of these things until such time as we turn around. Change our focus, change our point of view. Look to something greater. Again, I would recommend God. Einstein once said that you couldn't change a condition with the same thinking that created it. So what's to do? Turn around. What is the opposite of the experience? We must begin to think like that which we wish to become or wish to create, if we are ever to create or become that. Ernest Holmes once wrote that if we could see the mentality of a successful person, we would find the imprint of success written across the doorway of his consciousness. The successful person is sure of him or herself, sure of what she is doing, certain of the outcome of her undertakings. Just as much gathers more, as like attracts like, so success breeds greater success. We must have faith in who we are, who we really are, and what we are doing. That conviction, that faith in the power of our thoughts creates new ideas, strengthens our resolve, animates our action, and changes things. And change, my friends, whether we like it or not, seems to be what life is all about. In 1985, James Baldwin wrote, "Most of us are about as eager to be changed as we were to be born." And he says, we go through our changes in a similar state of shock. We've got to come to realize, as Ernest Holmes writes, that from birth to death we are on the path of experience, just waking to the real fact of our true being. And as we awaken, we sometimes discover that we are surrounded by many false conditions. But if we pay attention, we will also discover that there is something within us that remembers another state of being, a greater power. There is something, if we will change our point of view, that remembers our real state of being, something that remembers our divine heritage and a greater truth, something that will not only create change, but will fill that change with unlimited possibility. What more could we ask? If we will stop, even in the midst of a mess, no matter the size or shape, and turn around and look to God. If we will remember, if we will contemplate, concentrate, recapture the memory of the presence of God as the center and circumference of our lives, as the highest truth, as our highest truth, everything is transformed. But we can only make this happen as we turn our conscious awareness from the situation, away from the appearances, to spirit, from what isn't working to what does, from lack to unlimited life. It isn't the first place our mind tends to go, I'll give you that, but it is where we must send it. Television shows, contracts, relationships, weddings, credit cards can all get canceled. But that's never the end of the story. Not if we change our perspective. Not if we give up our addiction to knowing the outcome will be awful. You are a divine idea whose time has come. And your ideas are creating your reality in this very moment. You are the creative force in your life, and you must know that, no matter what anyone else may say. We don't need to fear change. We don't need to fear anything. Turn around. We are surrounded by a spirit of loving intelligence, of eternal givingness, of creativity, of abundance and power, a spirit that simply awaits expression through each of us. Turn around. There is a divine urge within, ever pushing us forward to something greater. I think Samuel Johnson must have foreseen a promised land, a distant heaven, 250 years ago, when he wrote, "Such is the state of life, that none are happy but by the anticipation of change. The change itself is nothing when we have made it. The next wish is to change again. The world is not yet exhausted. Let me see something tomorrow which I never saw before." Sounds almost like a prayer, doesn't it? Funny how so many things, when we change our perspective, begin to sound like prayers. Until Johnson's ideal day is our reality, perhaps we could hear this prayer. Imagine, if you will, that God is speaking directly to you. In times when you are frightened, there is someone walking behind you. Turn around. Look at me. In times when you feel ill-prepared, there is someone watching your footsteps. Turn around. Look at me. There is someone who really loves you, who holds your life in its hand. Turn around. Look at me. Understand. Understand that there is someone who stands beside you. Turn around. Look at me. And there's someone who loves and guides you. Turn around. Look at me. I have waited and I'll wait forever for you to come to me. Look at someone who really loves you. Turn around. Look at me. Whatever is going on in your life, turn around. Look at the one who really loves you. Look at God. Turn around. Understand. I should have known that Donna would know Tom Lear. Mm-hmm. Change is probably the only constant, Jennifer. It's going to happen. And yet we tend to go kicking and screaming into it, don't we? I don't want to change. I like it the way it is. It's going to be awful. Maybe not. Who's to say? You know, there's the old Chinese farmer story, which I know I have told you all way too many times, so I won't go through it all. But the bottom line of it all is that every time change happens in the Chinese farmer's life, the people say, "Oh, that's good," or "Oh, that's bad." And the Chinese farmer says, "Maybe good, maybe bad. Who's to say?" And then something happens that turns it around completely. Life is like that, isn't it? It's full of surprises. For surprises, insert the word change. Full of change. And that's good. That's good. That's good. Sometimes it doesn't feel good in the moment. I'll give you that. Sometimes when it's sudden, it feels like your whole life has just been ransacked. But if we look for the good, we'll find it. Like Jack and Jill, who are still very happily married. Her parents are probably still a little ticked off about all the stuff that they paid for that didn't get used. But it was the right decision. Well, thank you, Lainey. I appreciate that, especially coming from you, darling. I appreciate your opinion. Thank you. So, what's on your agenda for the week? What changes are upcoming? Hmm? What are you going to do differently this week that will make your life happier, prettier, more vibrant, more alive, more powerful? Hmm? What change are you going to start this week? You powerful, powerful people. You know, if you're busy directing your life, then when the changes come, they're not unexpected. You can say, of course that's happening. Yay, Jennifer! Jennifer got some sleep. Yay! I'm not being sarcastic. I'm thrilled. We prayed for that. And a nap today. Good girl. All right, Kirk. Yeah, and there's more stuff out there now, so jump on it. Monday seems to be a good day, but if it shows up today as no appointments, look again tomorrow. Monday really does seem to be a good day. Good, Jennifer. Try spot. Not COVID. I've had both shots. And I feel great. And incidentally, I really, I was very fortunate, other than a little tiny bit of stiffness at the inoculation site the first couple of days. And it was just stiffness. It really didn't hurt. It was just a little stiffness. I've had nothing. Kat wasn't quite so fortunate. She's still got a sore arm.
Yes.
But we've been well. We've been very well. Okay, Donna's going to get her second shot tomorrow. Yay, Donna. Through the school district. Good. Good, Kirk. I'm just proud of all of you for doing what's right for you. I'm proud of all of you for the decisions that you've made, for the things that you're doing to make the world a better place. I'm proud. I haven't seen any prayer requests yet, but feel free. Or if you don't want to put it in the chat box, most of you, Marlene Morris at sbcglobal.net. Just email me directly. You can do that. Yeah, I think that's true, Donna. If you move your arm around a lot more, it breaks. But I'm 2 shots into this now, and the worst thing that happened was a little bit of stiffness. Easy. And I'm very, very right-sided, so things happen on the left side, I hardly notice it at all. Right side would be a whole different story, I'm sure. But the left side is kind of like it's there to balance the body out. I'm a Libra, I have to be balanced. But other than that, well, then I think that where we are now is that we should pray, don't you? Yeah, I haven't. I understand she's undergoing Ginny. We're talking Ginny now. I'm looking at Laney's. That doesn't help. If you don't know where I am, that doesn't help, does it? Um, I understand she's still in the hospital, but that was a couple of days ago. And that she is undergoing kidney dialysis. Now, I haven't verified that. I've texted her a couple of times. I haven't received a response, but I also discovered I was texting the wrong number at first. I think I finally got that sorted out in my little brain and got it off to the right place. But if anybody has an update on Ginny, please let us know. We would appreciate that. And we will absolutely keep praying for her. Now, anybody else that wants to be in the prayer that we are about to do, I'll give you a minute because I know there's a lag time here. I don't know why. I guess they're afraid I'm going to say something that I shouldn't. And I might. I might. I've been known to do that before. So I'll just one more reminder, if you want to be in today's prayer, please put something in and let us know. Otherwise, we will just begin that process. Because it's a good thing to do. So, let's take a minute. Shall we? And take a gentle breath. And close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, just soft focus. And allow your attention to go within. To that place where you can hear the still small voice. To the sanctuary of your soul. And let us acknowledge that there, as it is everywhere, all that there is God. All that there is creative possibility, unlimited opportunity, love and grace and healing, abundance, joy. So much good. Right there at the center of your being. Right there. We spend so much time grasping at things outside ourselves when the real power, the real unlimited life lies within. So let us take just a second today to acknowledge that. that within each one of us, all that there is God, the creative, motivating force of the universe. We allow ourselves, if only for a moment, to know and to believe that totally. All that there is God. And we allow that truth to simply permeate our entire being, to fill every cell, to cleanse every thought, to allow positive, life-affirming change to occur. Take a breath and recognize that which you are breathing in is also God, because it is all that there is. And so if we feel a little unsettled, if we feel a little less than strong, let us simply breathe in. And know that as we do, we breathe in the power of creation and fortify ourselves. We refill those empty places. We satisfy the yearnings. And we heal the dis-ease. And as we know this truth for ourselves, we know it as well for all of those who have asked for prayer. For all whose hearts or lives are hurting. Especially today for Jenny. That she may know the power of God in her life and recognize the power of prayer and be healed and be strong. Know that she is loved and cared for and uplifted. And we know that that which created all in the beginning can recreate, reform, renew in every moment. And so as we claim that for Jenny, we claim it as well for ourselves. That we are renewed. That every cell in our body responds now to the recognition that God is all there is. And anything unlike that absolute perfection now is banished back into the nothingness from which it came. And all that remains is perfection. And we are healed body, mind, and spirit. And we are uplifted and we are reminded. And we have this old song from the 60s now floating in our heads. And it will pop up at the darndest times. Whenever we are thinking of lack or limitation, whenever we see darkness instead of light, that tune will suddenly appear in our heads. Turn around. Look at me. Understand. And we will turn our awareness from the appearances to the truth. We will look at God. And we will understand. in deepest gratitude. We allow that to be our only truth. And we know that it is so. And so it is. Well, it looks like our magical technical department has once again found us a closing song. Little Jimmy Buffett, yay! Yeah. All right. I love you all. I am so grateful for you. Thank you so much for the privilege of your time. Thank you so much for being here and for believing and for making this world a better place. It is because you are in it. I hope to see you Wednesday night at 7. We're back here again next Sunday at noon. You can, of course, watch a replay of this anytime you want, simply by coming to this spot. I just leave them all up there. Or by going to YouTube and looking for the Marlene Morris channel, which has all the talks on it, Wednesday and Sunday. So if you have friends that just don't do Facebook, and there's a lot of them out there these days, send them to YouTube. Thanks, I'd appreciate that. Take care of yourselves. Be well, be happy. I'd say be blessed, but I know that you already are. Take care. Be safe.